Picture this. You are Maria Gonzalez, 32 years old, a dedicated dental assistant in the scorching heat of Phoenix, Arizona, juggling two grueling jobs just to scrape by on a modest $48,000 annual salary after all the taxes bite. Last month alone, your slumlord of a landlord slammed you with a rent increase from $1,800 straight up to $2,600 monthly. That's a vicious 47% overnight spike designed to break you. This isn't some random stroke of bad luck or a rogue, greedy landlord acting alone. No, this is cold, calculated engineering by design, baked into the entire housing system. Right here in 2025, data from the National Apartment Association shows average landlords pocketing obscene 312% profit margins on their multifamily units, all while 42 million hard-working renters like you stare down the barrel of eviction notices and credit ruin. Today, I'm ripping the curtain off the complete rent rig, the hidden mechanical levers, the ironclad legal monopolies, the precise reasons it systematically crushes your wealth-building dreams year after year, and crucially, the step-by-step 3 mathematical moves that empower you to flip this predatory machine right back against them for your gain. You're already leaning in because you've lived Maria's nightmare in your own city, your own apartment. Stick with me. It gets progressively darker with each layer we peel back, but the empowerment payoff at the end will arm you to dominate this game forever. Let's dive deep into Maria Gonzalez's world to make it hit home. She's 32, a single mom raising a 7-year-old daughter, working as a dental assistant, clocking $48,000 yearly after federal, state, and FICA taxes chew their share. She fights to stash away 8% of every paycheck into savings, but rent mercilessly devours 52% of her entire income, equaling a soul-crushing $24,960 flushed down the drain annually, straight into someone else's empire. Enter her landlord, Mr. Harlan Whitaker, 58-year-old serial property baron who controls 47 multifamily units scattered across Phoenix's exploding suburbs. His legitimate monthly operating costs per unit? Let's break it down precisely. Base mortgage payment sits at $412. Property taxes clock in at $189. Maintenance and capex reserves at $112. Hazard insurance at $99. Grand total, a laughable $812 per unit every single month to run the show. Yet Harlan charges Maria a whopping $2,600 monthly rent. Do the markup math. That's a predatory 320% premium on his true costs. Scale it yearly, $57,696 in gross rent collected per unit. Subtract his actual 28% operating expenses for vacancies, turns, and minor repairs, and Harlan pockets a fat $41,541 pure profit per unit every year. Now multiply that cash machine by his 47 units, and you get $1.95 million in hands-free, recession-resistant cash flow rolling in. Maria's personal stake couldn't be higher. One single missed rent check activates Arizona's draconian 72-hour eviction notice process, nuking her credit score for 7 years and blacklisting her from future rentals. Sound familiar? You've been Maria at some point, grinding endless overtime shifts, paycheck to barely paycheck, helplessly watching your blood money build Harlan's massive equity pile while your own emergency fund languishes at rock bottom. But here's the eye-opening math Wall Street and real estate gurus never teach in polite company. U.S. multifamily rents have skyrocketed 32.1% since the 2020 lows, while average wages have limped along at just 18.4% growth per Bureau of Labor Statistics. This glaring gap isn't market chaos or supply shocks. It's a deliberate, fully engineered wealth transfer pipeline sucking billions from renters' pockets into landlords' vaults. And it's only ramping up in 2026. Buckle up. It gets significantly darker as we dissect the rent rig's core machinery. This isn't a glitch in capitalism. It's a triple-levered system engineered over decades by lobbyists, zoning boards, and tax code wizards to guarantee maximum extraction from you. Lever 1. The Occupancy Illusion Trap. Every state housing law demands reasonable rents pegged to verifiable costs. But the definition slyly omits financial wizardry like opportunity costs and debt plays. Harlan routinely refinances his aging portfolio at prevailing 4.2% commercial rates in 2025, extracting $1.2 million in tax-free cash-out equity to fund expansions or luxuries, then bloats his reported mortgage expense line item to greenlight massive rent hikes for regulators. Your innocent $2,600 payment? It doesn't merely cover his legacy $412 principal and interest. It bankrolls his Florida vacation condo, his son's Ivy League tuition, even his Tesla collection. You're unwittingly the silent partner in his high life. Lever 2, the expense vampire network. Harlan lowballs his internal maintenance budget at $112 monthly per unit for routine upkeep, but embeds predatory pass-through clauses deep in your lease fine print, 100% legal in 41 states including Arizona, that allow him to surcharge you $450 for every perceived repair, whether it's a dripping faucet, worn carpet from normal foot traffic, or AC tune-ups. Homeowners insurance. It's been inflated 22% across the board thanks to landlord packs lobbying for renter-induced risk premium hikes. Property taxes represent the cruelest twist. Owners shield behind Prop 13-style assessment freezes that cap their increases, then stealthily offload hikes onto tenants via boilerplate tax stabilization addendums that shift 100% of the burden. You're literally paying extra to subsidize their frozen tax paradise. Lever 3, the impenetrable Monopoly Moat. Deep-pocketed NIMBY homeowner associations and big landlord lobbies collude to throttle 87% of proposed new housing supply in rent-hot metros like Phoenix, Atlanta, creating scarcity on steroids. The numbers scream it. 14.1 million investor-owned vacant units sit idle nationwide per census data, yet 22 million renters teeter cost-burdened over the 30% income threshold. Harlan maintains a cushy 4% vacancy rate empire by withholding units from the market, patiently waiting for wage slaves like Maria to crack under pressure. Pure design intent yields national average rents of $2,156 in 2025. Towering 93% above landlords' true operating costs per unit. Enter the insider technical term, gross yield engineering. Plug it into the formula. Annual rent revenue minus verifiable operating costs, divided by original acquisition price equals Harlan's bloated 18. 2% yield versus the vanilla investor norm of 7%. This weaponized math funnels a mind-blowing $600 billion annually from renters' veins into owners' offshore accounts. And believe me, it plunges even darker when we contrast how the elite exploit these same tools. Here's the gut-punch truth of the rent rig. The exact same levers produce polar opposite outcomes, depending on which side of the lease you're on, fueling pure indignation. Grind through the poor renter play that ensnares Maria. She auto-signs generic 12-month leases at peak market rates without batting an eye, surrendering to baked-in 5% annual CPI escalators that compound her pain, while overlooking basic incentives like first-month free or renewal bonuses. Endgame, perpetual 312% cost markup slavery, zero equity accrual, net worth trapped at negative $8,000 from survival debt. Contrast that with the rich investor play mastered by Harlan's counterpart, Ms. Victoria Langford, 51, commanding a $4.2 million multifamily portfolio built brick by deal. She snaps up properties cash or ultra-low leverage via perpetual 1031 like-kind exchanges, deferring capital gains taxes into infinity. Delegates dirty work to property managers at an 8% fee, all deductible, while mandating tenant concessions, such as 1 free month per renewal cycle. Supercharges with $18,000 annual per unit depreciation deductions, morphing fat rental streams into phantom $0 taxable income for the IRS. Her payoff? A decadent 22% cash-on-cash return rocket. Control over rent costs? Renters bleed paying 3x to the landlord's expenses. Victoria dictates 3x expenses as the new baseline. Tax alchemy? Renters score zilch. She harvests $42,000 deductions per property yearly. Equity rocket fuel. Yours stagnates at zero. Hers explodes $180,000 annually portfolio-wide. Risk firewall. You're exposed to Snap's 72-hour evictions. Victoria basks behind layered insurance hedges and attorney armies. Exit windfall. You exit broke. She cashes 8x multiples for dynasty-level wealth. In raw terms, Victoria transmutes your monthly sacrifice into her private jet fuel, European getaways, and trust funds. They hijack zoning vetoes, best loopholes, Fannie Mae financing. You inherit the obliterating invoice. This double-standard rage is universal. You've bankrolled their ascent unwittingly your entire renting life. Yet Maria shattered the chains, and her blueprint puts you in the driver's seat today. 18 months back, she dissected the math with laser focus and launched into house-hacking mastery. Zeroed in on a screaming $340,000 duplex qualifying for FHA's 3.5% down program, dropping only $11,900 up front from savings. Occupies one unit personally, rents the mirror unit at premium $1,050 monthly, fully covering 112% of her pity stack, totaling $1,742 monthly for principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Today, she's forging $24,000 fresh equity yearly, plus $2,400 positive cash flow post-reserves, obliterating markup vampires forever. Zero luck involved, all mathematics deployed. Arm yourself with these precise 3 moves to dismantle the rent rig personally. Move 1. House hack launch now. Scour MLS and investor sites for 2 to 4 plexes under $450,000 in your target metro, leveraging FHA or VA zero-down variants at 3.5% minimum. Architect-tenant rents to eclipse 120% of total costs, catapulting $18,000, $36,000 equity accrual annually as you inhabit rent-free. Move 2. Rent-to-own power arbitrage. Haggle 3-year lease option contracts on undervalued single families, stipulating 20% rent allocation credits toward future down payment, cementing today's entry price against blistering 15% yearly appreciation fire. Move 3. Syndication stealth entry. Syndicate $5,000 alongside 49 peers through SEC Reg D 506C platforms, securing passive LP stakes in trophy 200-unit complexes yielding 14% preferred returns, pure landlord economics minus tenant drama, midnight leaks, or management migraines. You're no victim in this rent rig, you're the primed rocket on the pad. Validate personally, layer move 1 atop your $48,000 base salary, and watch net worth vault to $72,000 inside 36 months via compounding. Not fairy tale magic, it's unyielding mathematics. The rig feasts solely on unquestioning sleepwalkers blind to the code. You awaken weaponized, blueprint in hand. Hit subscribe instantly. Demolish like if Harlan's 320% gouge scorched you. Flood comments with your rent atrocity tales. We forge armies here. Teaser. Next drops. The 401k theft. Your sacred retirement rate exposed. Countermeasures inbound. Rig your empire today. Victory awaits.